Okay, so we're basically going to go over the back page now. I just want to make sure, because I don't want to do all the recording. There we go. Okay. So, look at the first one, -2 plus cosine 3 theta. All right, so what we have is a vertical shift, -2. All right, so our period is affected by the 3 in front. So my period is 2 pi over 3. All right, number in front of the cosine is 1, so that's my amplitude, and then I got my -2. All right, so it's cosine, so I'm going to start with my max, go down to my min, continue with my max. Halfway I'm at the zeros. All right. So here's my 0. Here's my 2 pi over 3. All right. To get my halfway point, I'm going to do half of 2 pi over 3, which is pi over 3. All right. Halfway to pi over 3, because it's odd, you double the denominator, so that's pi over 6. Same thing with halfway between pi and 2 pi over 3. You'd have 3 pi, which is odd, so you double the denominator. You end up with 3 pi over 6, which is pi over 2. All right, here's my graph. All right. Now you would continue that, so this one, the other period, would end at double that, which is 4 pi over 3, so I don't have enough room. I wrote too big. And then I'm going to add my vertical axis. All right, now normally it would be 1 and -1. There is no amplitude, so I'm going to take the 1, the 0, which is that, subtract 2, so -2 is my midline. Down 1 would put me at -3. Up 1 would put me at -1. Y equals sine of 4 theta minus 2. Again, period's 2 pi over my coefficient, which is 4. So that's going to give me a period of pi over 2. All right. So pi over 2 is where my first cycle is going to end. Half of that's pi over 4. Half of that's pi over 8. 3/4 point is 3 pi over 8. If I double pi over 2, I'm at pi, the end point of my second cycle. Let me make this bigger so we can see it. All right. So the -2 means this is -2. The 1 there means I'm at -1 and -3. Sine we call 0, 0, 0, max, min. All right. And then that's generally where the next 0 is going to be. Just sketching it out, we end up there. All right. Remember, domain is always all real numbers. And for this one, my range goes from the minimum, which is -3, to the maximum, which is -1. All right, so now we're going to have an amplitude, 1 plus 1/2 sine of 2 theta. All right, so it's sine. So there's my sketch. All right. Period, 2 pi over 2. 2's cancel out. Means I'm going to end at pi. Nice, I'm starting at 0. There's no parentheses, so there's no horizontal shift. Remember, that way we always start at 0. There's pi over 2, pi over 4. Oops, moved it. Sorry about that. Pi over 4, 3 pi over 4. Now I'm going to incorporate my vertical axis. All right. My midline is the 1. Now my amplitude is 1/2. All right, so that means I go up 1/2, so this would be 3/2. Down here would be 1/2. All right. Sine goes up, back down, up. You would continue that, by the way. Your next one would be a 2 pi. There we go. Okay, the only kind of difference between that one and the next one, obviously it's cosine, so the shape's different. Period's 2 pi over 4, which is pi over 2. Amplitude is 1/2. And then I got the -1. All right. So if I'm starting here, that's my -1. I go up the amplitude, which puts me at negative 1/2, down the amplitude, which puts me at negative 1 1/2 or negative 3/2, depending upon how you want to write it. So there's my vertical axis. There's no shift, there's no parentheses. So there we go. All right. Cosine means I'm starting at my max, ending at my max. Halfway through is my min, zeros at the quarter points. So my period's pi over 2, so that's pi over 2. Once again, I double that. Double pi over 2 and you're at pi. You're going to put me there with my cosine. All right, halfway to pi over 2, which would be my minimum, which just like in the last one, pi over 4, pi over 8, 3 pi over 8. All right, now the whole kit and caboodle, 13, 14, and 15. So I'm looking at 13. Got an amplitude of 3, and I got a shift of 1. So that means my midline's at 1. I add 3 to get my max, which is 4. I subtract 3 to get my min, which is negative 2. All right, I have parentheses, so I have a horizontal shift. So theta over 2 minus pi over 4 equals 0. I'm going to add the pi over 4 and multiply. At the end of the day, I get pi over 2. So that's my left endpoint. Again, my right endpoint, I add the period. The period is going to be 2 theta divided by 1/2, which kicks it out to 4 theta. So I'm going to add the 4 theta to the pi over 2. When I do that, I got 9 pi over 2. Halfway between 1 and 9 is 10. Half of 10 is 5. So now I got 5 pi over 2. 1 plus 5 is 6. Half of 6 is 3. 3 pi over 2. 5 plus 9 is 14. Half of 14 is 7. 7 pi over 2. All right. All right, so here's my left endpoint, pi over 2. Maximum's up here at 4. 0 there, minimum at negative 2 there, boom. All right. When I did my second cycle, it would come out to 17 pi over 2 because I'm adding 4 pi, which is 8 pi over 2. So I'd repeat it. There we go. There's my horizontal axis. There's my vertical axis. Boom, I'm ready to go. All right. Just as a reminder, domain is all real numbers. The range, I go min to max. My min is negative 2, less than or equal to y, less than or equal to my max, which is 4. 3 cosine theta over 4 plus 2 pi over 3 plus 2. All right. So, again, amplitude is 3, midline is 2. So my middle one's going to be 2. Add 3 to get 5. Subtract 3 to get negative 1. Negative 8 pi over 3 is my left endpoint. So this is negative 8 pi over 3. My period is 2 pi divided by 1/4, which will give me 8 pi. My denominator is 3. 3 times 8 is 24. So I'm going to add 24 to my numerator, which is negative 8. That gives me 16 pi over 3. All right. Negative 8 and 16, if I add them together, I'm at 8. Half of 8 is 4, so my midpoint is going to be 4 pi over 3. If I add them to the left, 4 minus 8 is negative 4. Half of negative 4 is negative 2, so that's negative 2 pi over 3. 4 plus 16 is 20. Half of 20 is 10. 10 pi over 3. All right. It's a cosine, so I'm starting at the max. Ending at the max. Sorry, it's going to overlap. Midway is the min, then I got zeros. I would repeat that out there. If I add the period, which is 8, to that, I get 40 pi over 3. At the end of the day, there's my graph. Again, domain is all real numbers. Range goes from negative 1 All right. And then 15 we'll go through tomorrow in class. All right. All right, I hope all these help tonight. Best of luck. Message me with any issues.